Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.
Yup. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another phenomenal episode of My Mama Told Me, the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories, and we finally work to prove the theories that you, the listeners, have at home. It's your time, you freaks, you weirdos, you sick fucks. I have been reading your messages. Some of them aren't even conspiracy theories. Some of it's just hate mail. Some of it is weird questions about celebrities that really has nothing to do with conspiracy theory and more is just whether or not such and such is who they claim to be. I don't know. It's all very confusing, but I'm grateful for every message. I'm grateful that we get to spend this time together, and this is a goddamn motherfucking mini episode. So you know what that means. I'm going to read one of your conspiracy theories. We're going to get into it. We're going to unpack this shit together. This message comes from a person named Daryl. Daryl sent me a message where he said, "Hey, Langston, we're in it. I don't know if y'all can tell, but we're already in it. And I'm excited for this one because I had never heard this before. Nobody's ever said this one to me. And that's always an exciting journey when you get something brand new to feel confused about, I guess. I don't know what the feeling is, but it is something. And Daryl sent me a message. He said, "Hey, Langston, this conspiracy doesn't come from my mom." Very smart of you, Daryl, to protect your mom from the potential hate mail that was coming her way. "This conspiracy doesn't come from my mom, but I've always heard it from my barber and random niggas at the gas station. My mama told me that you can contract HIV from eating pork." That's right, folks. You heard it right. Daryl is saying that you can potentially contract HIV from eating pork. And of course, Daryl, I'm sure you're not asking on your own behalf, but more the behalf of these gas station niggas and these people at the barbershop. And so let's make one thing very, very clear. I don't often talk to people at gas stations. I've made that a rule for myself in my life. I respect that you decided to live a different way, Daryl. But me personally, I tend to avoid random niggas at the gas station as much as possible. But more power to you if that's something you're into. That said, let me start by stating very clearly that all barbers are very, very dumb. They are dumb people. And all niggas in barbershops get dumber because of the time that they spend around those barbers. Now, that is not to say, and I want to make myself clear about this. Let me get into my Stephen A. Let me be clear. That is not to say that I do not value barbers as human beings. I do. I love them dearly. I love my barber almost as much as I love my daughter. In fact, I think they are some of the most important and well-meaning people on this planet, but they are also a constant source for false information and fucked up ideas. Every time I leave my barbershop, I am slightly dumber than when I walked in. Every time I leave my barbershop, I feel like I forget whether potato has an E at the end of it. You know what I mean? I'm just spelling potato with E at the end because this dumb nigga's been in my ear for 45 minutes to an hour. You know? And there is no evidence. Let's get into some of this science because you're asking whether or not you can get HIV through eating pork. Let's start with the basics. There's no evidence of people contracting HIV through the foods that they eat. No evidence whatsoever. I imagine that if I wanted to be even more responsible, I should talk about the fact that a fair amount of the fear-mongering around HIV was deeply rooted in hatred for is a type of sort of like advanced homophobia and racism because of the communities that were most heavily affected by this mysterious disease at the time that it first came out, right? We didn't know a lot about HIV. And so the intention on the part of the powers that be was to make it the gay disease or make it the poor's disease. And the poor was often black and brown people and continues to be, unfortunately. That said, there's no evidence of you being able to get HIV from the food that you eat. In fact, HIV does not live long outside of the human body. It's sort of its weakness is being exposed to air, right? And it doesn't even live long enough to infect someone's food and then infect the person eating that food. Even if the food did contain small amounts of HIV-infected blood or semen, exposure to the air, heat from cooking, and stomach acid would ultimately destroy the virus. So you can sleep safe. You can tuck yourself in nice and neat, Daryl, knowing that you ain't getting AIDS from anybody's pork sandwich. That said, according to my research, this isn't that said, I made an emotional turn that implied that I was about to drop another counter bomb on you, but I ain't got no counter bombs. Not yet, you dumb bitch. They're coming. And don't you forget they're coming, you piece of shit. Don't you fucking forget that something might turn on you at any second. The point is, according to my research, there doesn't even seem to be any evidence that pigs can even contract HIV or AIDS to transfer to human beings. However, and this is that turn I warned you about. See, now we're ready. However, that doesn't mean that pigs don't come with a potential host of other very wide a wide array of other viruses and diseases. In fact, here's an incomplete list. This is not the total list, but an incomplete list of just some of the things you can get while fucking around with pigs. You can get ringworm. You can get erysipelas, leptocirus, streptococcus. I think that's strep. Campylobacterosis. Salmonella, I guess that's salmonella. Cryptosporidiasis. Do you guys get that I'm not a science man? Giardiasis. Baladetchusis. I've never felt weaker in my life than attempting to pronounce these words that I've never seen before. Influenza, I know that one. In fact, there's a fair amount of influenzas we know come from pigs with the E. coli pathogen and brucellosis. We all know brucellosis. And then, of course, H1N1, that's swine flu. H1N2, that's swine flu second album. And even H3N2. That's when swine flu, they broke up as a group, but then they came back together with a few new members. It was sort of like what the Temptations or Destiny's Child did. And you gotta think, I really preferred the old version, but I'm excited to see what you can still do. And that's H3N2 with swine flu. Even more important, and this part I had no idea about, this part was pretty exciting to learn, is that in 2001, ABC News reported about a new disease outbreak in pigs that mirrored quite a few of the symptoms we find in the AIDS virus in human beings. Now, when I say a new disease and a new report, I should be clear that the rest of the world had seemed to be suffering from, or pigs around the world had seemed to be suffering from this disease since the mid-'80s. Similar to the HIV virus, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, this new outbreak was worth reporting in 2001 because it had started to overtake quite a few of the pigs on farms in America. This disease called PRRS, or porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome, also goes by the street names. And I love these street names. These are solid street names. We got swine mystery disease. We got swine infertility. And then my personal favorite, we have blue abortion. It's called blue abortion. And at the time, it had affected some pigs. In 2001, it had affected some pigs in nearly 75% of American pig herds. Now, this is why it's called all those weird street names, is because the PRRS virus is said to primarily attack a pig's immune system, leaving the body open to a host of other infections, particularly in the lungs. Some pigs develop a chronic infection and become carriers, but show no symptoms, very similar to the AIDS virus and how it hits humans. Furthermore, the reproductive and respiratory syndrome often kills baby pigs. Affected mothers lose up to 10% of their pregnancies. Their babies are spontaneously aborted or born stillborn. As many as 20% to 30% of the survivors may suffer and die from respiratory disease such as pneumonia. It's a fucked up disease for pigs, PRRS. Despite all of this, there is no evidence that this disease can infect human beings. No evidence. And this is the part that's even more fucked up, is that despite the fact that it can't affect human beings, infect human beings, there is quite a bit of evidence is the way that sentence is supposed to go. There is quite a bit of evidence that suggests that humans might be the greatest cause for the spread of this disease. Research reveals that the virus, much like the AIDS virus, much like HIV, is transmitted via semen, saliva, and blood. I don't think saliva is on our list. I want to be responsible and say saliva ain't our shit. Those pigs, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know a lot about AIDS. I could be fucking up right now, but I'm pretty sure you can't get it from kissing. But that's neither here nor there. Those pigs herded closely together and transported at close quarters by trucks may be more susceptible to the infection, meaning the way that we are treating pigs is making the disease spread more rapidly and causing more of the death and destruction sweeping the pig community. So essentially, pigs were facing down this terrifying mystery disease that was wiping out their entire population, and dumbass barbers were running around talking about pulled pork sandwiches give you that disease from Philadelphia. You know? Just a stupid motherfucker talking about, man, don't eat don't eat them ribs, man. That's how you end up like Tom Hanks. You don't want that Tom Hanks disease. Like, we're so fucking, we're dumb, and we're destroying everything, and we're not good mentally or for the greater good of the planet, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's good barbershop banter. I'd hate to be in a barbershop that isn't spreading some sick conspiracy theory. That shit sounds boring as fuck. You just sit there and get a regular haircut without bad opinions? The fuck did you go there for? You could learn to cut your own hair on YouTube if that's the case. Anyway, if you want to send me fucked up shit that your barber believes, much like Daryl did, then you could send it to mymommapod@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to riff and rant about the stupid shit your barber says, or any barber says. Any stuff that you want to share with me. I want to talk about it. Send it to mymommapod@gmail.com. And as always, subscribe. Review, say beautiful things about the podcast. We're nearly at that sweet 1,000 that I dreamed of many a year ago. It was 1 year ago. I dreamt of us making it to 1,000 reviews, and boy, howdy, are we close. We're about 50 away, and you could be the difference maker, you piece of shit. Why won't you step up and do the right thing and get us to 1,000 reviews? And what happens after we get 1,000 reviews? Probably nothing. Probably nothing changes about my experience in making this podcast, but it'll mean the world to me, and I'll make love to my wife even more gentle than I already do because of the satisfaction I'll feel knowing that 1,000 people have said mixed things about this podcast. Pretty mixed things about the things that I'm putting together. But that said, I'm internally grateful for you. Thank you so much for sending me your messages, and please continue to send us more. You know what to do. Bye, bitch.
Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.